Final resurrection and reward. This is the last devotion that we're going to have in our study of Daniel. The last part of Daniel chapter 11, it talks about Daniel foreseeing things that would happen over a long period of time, all the way up to right before the Messiah would come. And in Daniel chapter 11, verse 36, it seems that Daniel is foreseeing Antiochus, the same person that he talked about before in history, but now as a type or a kind of person, a picture of an enemy that would come. And the king shall do as he wills. He shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak astonishing things against the God of gods. He shall prosper till the indignation is accomplished, for what is decreed shall be done. If we look at the language in verse 36 to verse 45, and it talks about this king that should be exalted. And we really pay attention to verse 40, where it talks about at the time of the end of time. We see that he's not talking about Antiochus, but he's merely a picture of a future enemy that will be most powerful. At the time of the end, the king of the south shall attack him, but the king of the north shall rush upon him like a whirlwind, with chariots and horsemen, and with many ships. And he shall come into countries, and shall overflow and pass through. The final bodily resurrection that Daniel foresees in chapter 12. This will happen immediately after this powerful ruler loses that Daniel discusses in chapter 11, 36 through 45. And the symbols that Daniel uses, they seem to fit with the passages, fit together with the passages that theologians believe is the Antichrist or the spirit of the Antichrist. That is always against the Lord and his people. And every spirit that does not confess Jesus is not from God. This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you heard was coming, and now is in the world already. The final enemy, the last enemy, the Antichrist, he shall come to his end in a time of great trouble. And he shall pitch his palatial tents between the sea and the glorious holy mountain, yet he shall come to his end with none to help him. God, he will preserve his people. This bodily resurrection from the dead, who's this talking about? Well, it's talking about both the righteous and the unrighteous people. God will give the righteous people, he will give his holy people reward, but the unrighteous people, God will judge, and he will punish them eternally. Why? Because they refuse to repent. And many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And those who are wise shall shine like the brightness of the sky above, and those who turn many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. God's people who suffered in the exile, those who persevered in faithfulness to God alone for salvation, they will be victorious eternally. Now, we as God's people, we are still in physical exile from heaven, and we await the full consummation of our resurrection. I'm talking about our physical resurrection. Spiritually, this has already began and is continuing. And that means that while we are here on earth, we will suffer for our faith. But if we persevere until the end of our life, we will arise physically and spiritually. So we continue on, and God will save us physically and spiritually eternally. And you will be hated by all for my name's sake. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. Now, how do we apply this to our Christian life? People who know the Lord and are faithful to him, no matter if they face opposition or persecution, small or large, no matter, they continue to be faithful to him. Well, they're called to be faithful, same as we are, all our lives, to continue into the end of our life. And then God will give us our great reward. We continue to be faithful, to repent whenever we sin, again and again. And He will never leave us. He will save us, and He will take us to heaven. Perhaps you are wondering who this Antiochus person, who is this spirit of the Antichrist? Who is this? The answer is, we really don't know. We don't know specifically who this is, but we need to trust in the Lord's word that it is true, and trust in Him and be faithful to Him. Coram Deo.